I think with me doing solo content, this is going to be the closest to a podcast episode that we're going to get. So I'll basically call this a podcast episode, just because it's multiple topics, pieces of content, that type of stuff. So, yeah, there's a few things in Philly sports I want to talk about, and there's a game that I want to debut that I think is going to be pretty fun. Hoping to make a series. Unless people don't like it, then I won't do it. But I think it could be fun. First of all, the Phillies are tied with the Dodgers for the best record in Major League Baseball. They just passed the Mets for first place in the NL East. Dodgers are pretty good, if you know anything about baseball. Best team in the league, pretty much consensus. Phillies have the same record as them. And this goes back to a point that I made in the previous video that I posted, which is people really jumped the gun on the Phillies. And not by people, I mean Phillies fans. And that really frustrated me. I talk about it more at length in that. But in this one, I really want to make the point of why was everyone so freaked out? Why after 20, 25 games was everybody saying that this was a terrible idea to keep this core together and that there was no life in the Phillies after 25 games, such a small sample size. And here we are. Phillies are tied for the best record in baseball. No one's complaining now. So I don't understand why Phillies fans have this issue with loyalty sometimes. Not loyalty, very loyal. Phillies fans are very loyal. I don't know quite what the word is for it, actually, but just not having trust or enough optimism, I guess. It's just a lack of optimism, I guess, that we're so quick to think that everything's falling apart and maybe making a mountain out of a molehill sometimes when it comes to slumps and things like that, because the Phillies are doing just fine now. And I remember just a few weeks ago, there were a lot of clips going around of people going on and on about all the issues the Phillies have. And they still have some issues. Obviously, they're not a perfect team. They're going to have to still probably make some trades, and there's some holes and stuff and inconsistencies, but they're a very good team. Nobody has a better record than the Phillies, so we're doing just fine, guys. Can we try to enjoy this team, please? That's my main point. We need to enjoy this team more. And they're doing great, so let's enjoy them. So yeah, Phillies, first place. Just wanted to lead off with that, a little fun thing. Because I don't want to like pull specific clips because that feels kind of mean. But like I'm thinking of people that I either follow on social media or that I saw on social media that had some harsh things to say about the Phillies, and I think those were very premature things to say because look how they're doing now. So just some patience was required. That's all. So yeah, that's the Phillies. The other big news is the Eagles' schedule got released. I'm a little late on this. That's just how this is going to be. I'm not going to be able to give super up-to-date stuff because I'm not going to be able to record every day at the time that stuff happens. That's just not how it's going to be in this season, basically. So I'm going to try to have a consistent release schedule and all of that, but it's not going to be like breaking news type of stuff, the like immediacy of things. So just that's how it's going to be, basically. The schedule got released. I went to the regular website, but then I was like, well, that looks quite boring. So I don't know. We could still look at it like this. That fits, right? Yeah, it fits. It's just, yeah, it doesn't look the most appealing, but you can see it. Yeah, there we go. How's that? So week one, they basically. I just want to look through this because it's interesting. People are going to do like record predictions and stuff right now, which doesn't make sense. So I'm not going to do that. I just want to talk about storylines, and I think that's the interesting part. Right now in May, we can't be predicting wins and losses yet. The first thing that stands out: week 9 bye. Last year they had a week 5 bye, so week 9 bye, much better. Basically, you're right in the middle, so that's great. Glad they have that. The home opener against the Cowboys is just fantastic. The Cowboys have to watch the Eagles celebrate their Super Bowl win. I love that so much. Great job, NFL. Shout out to you guys for the scheduling. Other big overall note is the Eagles don't have back-to-back home games. If you look through here, home, away, home, away, home, away, away, home, away, home, away, home, away, home, away, 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 home. So that's very interesting that they don't have back-to-back home games. That's pretty crazy. I think what I saw was that no reigning Super Bowl champ has ever had that in their schedule the following season, which is pretty crazy. Conspiracy theory, I don't know. That the NFL's schedule creation process is super complicated and really fascinating. NFL Films did a really good video on it. Highly recommend that you watch it. But it's not, yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like they're trying to get the Eagles. Really honest, starting off this season with some tough games. Obviously, the Cowboys should win that, but then Chiefs, Rams, Buccaneers, Broncos is a tough stretch after that to kick off your season. The Broncos, I didn't really believe in them that much last year, but they seem more legit this year. Obviously, the Eagles are going to be favorites in pretty much all of their games as it stands right now, but these are tough opponents. And then Giants, the Vikings should be good. Giants again. I think this is the first time I can remember that they don't play the Giants in one of the last 2 weeks. It feels like they always play the Giants in the last couple of weeks, but play the Giants 2 out of 3 weeks, week 6 and week 8. And the one is Thursday Night Football. So Giants in primetime. Play the Cowboys in primetime, Giants in primetime, Packers in primetime, Lions in primetime, Chargers in primetime. Yeah, those are the main primetime ones. This is a tough schedule. There's not that many bad teams on here. Like the only bad teams, I would say, Giants and Raiders. And that's really it. Like there's a lot of good teams in the NFL. But this is a tough schedule, man. There's not a lot of like breather games, a lot of breaks in here. Good news is it's hard to have a trap game when there's no real traps to be had in your schedule. They're just going to have to be locked in all year because there's not a lot of breaks here. So overall storylines, those are the overarching ones. I already talked about Cowboys opening night is sweet, and then Chiefs Super Bowl revenge game week 2, or Super Bowl. They're trying to get revenge. The Eagles did get revenge on the Chiefs in 2023 after they lost in 2022. So maybe the Chiefs win this one, and then it doesn't really matter because the Eagles beat the Chiefs in 2023, and then the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. So it doesn't matter. Rams, I saw somebody say that this time when the Eagles play the Rams, it won't be snowing, but they must have forgotten that Saquon ran all over the Rams in LA without snow, so it didn't really matter. Away at the Bucs, looking forward to that one for Luke with his newfound fandom of Baker Mayfield. Home versus Denver Broncos, sure. And then Giants games, 2 out of 3 weeks is going to be fun. Get to beat them before our bye. And then the Packers and Lions going up against both of those teams should be fun. The tush push might get banned partially thanks to the Packers, so it'd be great if they beat the Packers without a tush push. It's like we didn't even need it. The Lions fans seem to want the smoke with the Eagles, which is interesting because I feel like they initiated that. Eagles fans, I don't think, have been like coming for the Lions or anything like that it felt like Lions fans really initiated, like, we want the Eagles. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. I feel like Eagles fans would embrace it. They're like, yeah, we want to play the Lions. That'd be great. So it feels like a little big brother, little brother energy. Bears, Chargers are going to be good too. Again, we also played the Cowboys. We finished our Cowboys games pretty early. I guess when you start with week 1, it's easier, but Cowboys week 12 is a little earlier. They saved the Commanders. We go Commanders in week 16 and week 18. So I think the NFL is pretty high on the Commanders, which the Commanders could be very good. So I don't blame them for being high on the Commanders, but yeah, those could be some division deciding games between the Eagles and the Commanders. That's probably how they think that it'll play out. So playing the NFC North and the AFC West as the whole divisions is definitely a challenge. 2 good divisions with at least 2 good teams, if not 3, depending on how the season goes. So very intrigued by a lot of these games. And then, yeah, like I said, the Commanders at the end is probably going to be deciding some seeding for playoffs. And then the Super Bowl is going to be at the 49ers Stadium on February 8th. So that'd be cool to win a Super Bowl in the 49ers Stadium. We're not too fond of them. So let me know your thoughts on the Eagles' schedule. Just wanted to go over that because it's always interesting. Teams do really fun schedule releases. The Eagles just kept it simple. They just did the like cinematic shots of the Lombardi Trophy and then like just a clean like featuring list of the schedule. They didn't go all out like some other teams, but that's because some teams' Super Bowl is the schedule release. And in a way, the Eagles are really just kind of giving subtle hints at that. Like, you guys go all out for this because this is like one of the more important times of your season. This is not one of the more important times in our season. We just go out and win these games, whatever's on our schedule, and we win Super Bowls. So I thought that the Eagles' schedule release, while technically maybe a little less creative, very, very fun and well done, well produced, and I liked the concept of we're a little better than you guys. So we don't need to do as you guys are doing a little much. We don't need to. So I liked the slight bit of arrogance. That's the word I'll use. The slight bit of arrogance that it had. So yeah. I wanted to do a little bit of Sixers draft preview. Actually, let me pull this up quick. A little bit of Sixers draft preview. I honestly have not taken a ton of time to look into the options. It seems like it has come down to, from the general consensus of what I've seen from everybody else, VJ Edgecombe or Ace Bailey. And the comparisons are, or the compare and contrast, I guess, the 2 options between the 2, the pros and the cons. I don't know what word I'm looking for. VJ Edgecombe is the safer pick, general consensus, where he's a more developed guy. He's not older than Ace Bailey, but just Ace Bailey is seen as more of a project who has to like grow into his skill a little bit more. VJ Edgecombe is a little bit more prepared, like ready to plug and play. So that bodes as a safer pick is basically what that means. He's also just, his play style fits a little bit more with like basically any team. Ace Bailey is seen as more of a project with a higher floor. So there's some more risk, but there could be some more reward. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the Sixers choose because this is a huge pick. Sixers obviously not known for always doing well in the draft, but lately they've crushed it in the draft. Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, obviously the top end ones, but they've also made some good second round picks. Adem Bona, I believe they snagged Justin Edwards. I don't know if they even drafted him. He might have been a free agent, or if they got him in the second round. But so yeah, those are the main 2 that it has come down to, it seems, unless the Sixers go crazy with something else. But basically, VJ Edgecombe can fit anywhere, safer, ready-made NBA prospect. Ace Bailey, more of a gamble, but could be like a star and could pair very, very well as a bigger guy with Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, the younger guys on the team. So VJ Edgecombe might seem like more of a win now pick, and Ace Bailey might seem like more of a future of the organization pick, which obviously you would prefer future of the organization. But also when you have Joel Embiid and you don't know how much longer, we don't even know if this year he's going to be himself, but you definitely don't know how much longer he's going to be himself. It's hard not to go all in on winning now. And not to mention Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse's jobs kind of on the line, so they might be feeling some pressure to win. They might not be as concerned about the future of the organization. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see who they pick between. The good news is you can't really go wrong. Like, no one's going to be, some people will be upset, but both of these guys are great prospects, considering the fact that the Sixers could not have their pick at all. This is a great problem to have, picking between these two. I thought the NBC Philly had a really interesting article here about going through Daryl Morey's draft history as a GM. Of course, none of this is, it's different prospects in different years. Context always matters. So this does not necessarily mean this impacts what he's thinking now, because if you're a GM, you have to be adaptable. It's not like, well, I take this kind of player every time. It shouldn't be. That wouldn't be smart. But this gives us kind of a bit of a pattern of what Daryl Morey's thought process normally looks like. So now there's a lot of these older ones. It's even less relevant because it's even more different. So let's just go with his Sixers tenure. Because there's a lot of decent picks. Even taking Nicholas Batum 25th overall, that's a good find. Marcus Morris 14th overall, hit. Jeremy Lamb 12th. Terrence Jones 18th overall is all right. Clint Capella 25th overall, great pick. Sam Decker not so much. But yeah, so he's found some late round gems. Speaking of late round gems, Sixers, Tyrese Maxey, pretty great pick. Jaden Springer, unfortunately, no longer with the team, bounced around quite a bit. I'm not sure how he's gonna end up. And then this 2022, I don't know why this is actually on here, because he didn't make that pick. It says here that was traded. So, but yeah, and then Jared McCain, obviously a snipe at 16. So he's basically drafted guards. But he's hit on Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain. And again, I'm saying Daryl Morey, he's the face of the draft, but it's the Sixers scouting department, the Sixers drafting team. It's just Daryl Morey's the face of it. So let's not just all put this on Daryl Morey's in there in a room by himself being you know who I want, let's go with this guy. So we can't put all of the blame or the praise on Daryl Morey, but he's the one who gets talked about. So okay, I was right. Justin Edwards was undrafted. Just wanted to clear that up. So 2024 really, really impressive by the Sixers. So they're coming off of a good draft, and yeah, like I said, between these two options at number 3, it's whatever the opposite of pick your poison is. No one's going to be mad. They're both great prospects. And who knows, one of them could not pan out. But as of now, there's not a clear one that the Sixers need to go with. We could look back on this and it could be yeah, they messed up. They should have taken that guy. Or good thing they took that guy because the other one didn't pan out. But as of now, just based on prospect consensus of what these guys are, they're both great options for the Sixers at number 3. Both of them could plug into this team very well in different ways, and in an East that could be pretty weak next year. Don't want to get too optimistic about the Sixers, because that's what we've learned over the last 8 years. Don't be optimistic about the Sixers, but not going to be much competition in the East. If Joel Embiid can be anything good, if Paul George can be close to Paul George and not whatever last year was, you nail this third pick. There's some reason for optimism, but let's get past that. We can talk about that later. I want to get into this game. I was going to say that I've invented. It's not like I I kind of invented it. Let's get into this game. Basically, I want to learn about Philadelphia sports history. I've always been a history guy. I feel like it doesn't play to social media well. Everyone always cares about now and the news now and reacting to the newest news. And I was trying to think of things that I could do that are not that. And also, like I said at the beginning, how I am just not going to have the time to be doing things on a basis where the sports news cycle is dictating my schedule. I need to just do it when I have time. And so I can't be like that, breaking news, reacting to the news style content. So that brings me to this game. And I was like, I like the history of sports in general, and this is all Philly all the time, so why not start out with Philly sports? So this game is, I'm going to spin a wheel. I actually forget what the years are. I think it's 1950 to 2021 on this wheel. Oh, no. Wait, okay, there we go. It's 1950 to 2021 on this wheel. So we're going to spin this wheel of years, and then I have a second wheel that will spin. There we go. That's where I spin it. I was looking for like a spin button, but it was in the middle. So the year we get is 2015. All right, I was kind of hoping for like an older year, but we do what the wheel says, okay? There's going to be plenty of other... I'll take 2015 off because I'd like to make this a series. Anyway, point being, I won't take 2015 off, actually. Never mind, because the second wheel is just a wheel of the four major Philadelphia sports teams. So which 2015 team will we be learning about? The 2015 Philadelphia Flyers. This is good for an early year because I remember the 2015 Eagles. I remember the 2015 Phillies. I don't really remember the 2015 Sixers, but the Flyers are the team that I need to learn about the most. So basically what this is going to be is just we find a year, we find a team of the four, and then we learn about them together. So let's go on this adventure together for, I don't want this to take too long, but let's say like roughly 10 minutes. Let's spend 10 minutes learning about the 2015 Philadelphia Flyers and see what they were all about. I think I'm going to start with the basketball reference, hockey reference, baseball reference, football reference, just because that's like a standard place for me to kind of understand the context of things. And then we'll get into storylines. So we'll start off with like data and results, and then we'll look into stories based on what we find. So they finished 5th in the Metropolitan Division. They had a record of 41, 27, 14. That seems pretty good. Again, the Flyers are hockey, and the Flyers, my weakest of the four main sports. So I don't know that much, but we're learning. We're here learning together. So yeah, okay, they were 7th out of 30 in, what is this, standard offense? Here, we're learning here. SOS, strength of schedule. I should know that. So they were 6th in strength of schedule. Simple rating system is a rating that takes into account average goal differential and strength of schedule. Oh, so it's combining, like, yeah, how much you won or lost games by and how difficult your games were. So they were like pretty basic. Oh, now I gotta go back. They were pretty basic, it seems like, in that they were just a net negative 0.3, which is like basically 0 and right in the middle. And then they lost in the first round of the playoffs to the Washington Capitals. Okay, so let's kind of skip to the end of the story here. They lost to the Washington Capitals in the 2015 NHL playoffs. Does the NHL, is it just 2015? No, it's 2015, 2016. So I probably have to say 2016 NHL playoffs because the playoffs actually like happened in 2016. I think, let's see. First round, yep, Capitals over Flyers. You guys can see that, right? Yeah, Capitals over Flyers, 4-2. So this is that playoffs in 2015. So the Capitals then lost to the Penguins, and then the Penguins beat the Lightning 4-3, and then the Penguins won. Okay, so the Pittsburgh Penguins won the Stanley Cup this year. That's great. Glad we got 2015. This is fantastic. Off to a great start. Okay. So their average age was 28 years old, and that's the league average. So this is a pretty average-aged team. Then they did pretty well. It seems like a slightly above average team that wasn't amazing, really. Let's look at some stats here. Claude Giroux. I think it's Giroux. This is gonna any Flyers fans. I'm so sorry. I should know Claude Giroux. I think it's Giroux, but I'm sorry. That's really bad by me. I need to be better there. Pretty much all of their top guys have a negative plus minus. Oh no, there's a positive plus minus, and there's some positives, but then there's a lot more negatives than positives on the plus minuses here. Again, hockey stats, I don't really know a ton of what a lot of these mean, but it seems like they have, of their best players, a lot of them are like in their later 20s. And so it's like kind of it seems like a team that from what I'm looking at here is a team that's kind of like, this is the best they're going to get. It's not like a young, exciting team. It's a team with a lot of guys that like should be in their prime, but they weren't like dominating. They lost in the first round of the playoffs, weren't crazy in the regular season. They had one hat trick. Let me see their goalies. Okay, he finished 11th in All-Star voting. Steve Mason, their second goalie. Both goalies are 27. Both had save percentages, pretty similar save percentages, both hovering around 92%. Again, I don't know if that's good. Someone tell me if that's... Oh, we're learning here. Average NHL goalie save percentage is 92%. That doesn't seem like amazing. Let's find out what the average save percentage is. In 23-24, the average was 90. Okay, so maybe we need to narrow this down to what in 2015, was the game of hockey that different? Okay, average was 91, so they were both slightly above average goalies. Okay, so yeah, this whole team, the general consensus seems to be slightly above average. That's what I'm getting here. Top one for people also ask is who got fired. Oh, that's John Tortorella. Okay, that's nothing to do with the 2015 Philadelphia Flyers. This is hockeydb.com. Oh, this is more stats. Okay, so now I got to kind of hunt for storylines, which I don't know exactly how to do that. Well, I searched rosters, so maybe that will get us away from the stats. There we go. Wikipedia. Why not go to Wikipedia? Who doesn't trust Wikipedia, you know? School really drilled it into my head not to trust Wikipedia, but now as the internet gets more and more crazy, you know, Wikipedia is seeming a lot more reliable to me now. Just because, you know, a bunch of people are contributing to it. It was drilled into my head in elementary and middle school that Wikipedia was the worst thing on earth. And because anybody can write anything on there. And I still don't fully trust it because of that, but anybody can write anything anywhere now, it seems like. So anyway, that's my spiel on Wikipedia. The 2015-2016 Philadelphia Flyers season, no one cares. That was the 49th season. They played against Tampa Bay Lightning. It was the first season under new head coach Dave Hakstol. Finished 5th in the Metropolitan Division and 7th in the Eastern Conference, qualifying as the second wildcard team where they would lose to the Washington Capitals. So Dave Hakstol, he looks like a hockey coach, I would say. He was probably a little bit on the younger side. This was 10 years ago, so he was 46. Seems like younger for a head coach. He attended the University of North Dakota and played hockey there. Love that. Let's see, what did he do before he was a head coach? Oh, okay, this is interesting. It was announced that Hextall would become the Philadelphia Flyers' 19th head coach. He was the first head coach, or is the first head coach, to go directly from the NCAA to the NHL since 1982. So kind of a risky move. I was right. They were taking a young guy. He went from the NCAA to the Flyers, and that was not a common thing. Interesting. He picked up his first NHL victory in the Flyers' third game. They beat the Florida Panthers. Okay. And then April 2017. Oh, no, that's just him being on the national team. He was with the Flyers from May 2015 to December 2018. So 3.5 years. They relieved him after they got off to a slow start in 2018. Okay, so he had kind of a brief run with them. I mean, they didn't go to the Stanley Cup finals or anything during his time, so expectations probably weren't crazy. Off season, this is going to give us a setup for the year. They failed to qualify for the playoffs the year prior, and so they fired coach Craig Berube, nicknamed Chief. Okay. And he had played he played for 17 seasons in the NHL. Good for Craig. Yeah, they hired Hextall from the NCAA. Whoa, okay. So he was coaching the University of North Dakota. He played there, and then he coached for 11 seasons, in which he led them to the NCAA tournament every year, and they advanced to the Frozen Four 7 times. It seems like a lot in 11 years. So he was kind of crushing it with North Dakota. And then they signed someone to a 1-year, $3 million deal. That seems pretty minimal. It was a busy day on draft day, and they selected this guy with the 7th overall pick, and they traded these picks for Travis Konecny. Okay, he's been with the Flyers for a while, right? Career statistics, yeah, he's been with the Flyers. Okay, he's been with the Flyers since they drafted him. So this was his first year with the team, Travis Konecny. I know that because I did a Flyers highlight in college, and he got in a fight, and so I talked about him when that happened. Okay, and this guy, it looks like he's still with. Oh no, okay, but he was with the Flyers for a while too. So it looks like they did a good job with this draft. I think. Again, let me know if I'm wrong on any of this stuff. It seems like they did a good job with this draft going into this year. And then they did a trade to create some cap space. They acquired Chris Pronger. I know he was in the NHL for a while. Man, they made a lot of trades. Okay, they were wheeling and dealing. And then they re-signed Ryan White. And then they also signed a free agent goaltender to a 2-year. So they're making a lot of mid-range moves, it seems like. They drafted well, and then they're moving a lot of pieces for cap space, and yeah, none of these are blockbuster deals, but it just seems like building block moves that are good. And then the standings, yeah, Capitals were really good, 56-18. They had 120 points. They were plus 59, so they dominated. And then somehow the Penguins beat them in the second round of the playoffs. Good for the Penguins. Kind of snuck up on them. So it seems like the tiers were regular season tiers. Capitals, tier 1. Tier 2 was the Penguins, Rangers, and Islanders. And then the Flyers were the third tier of the playoff teams. Because you look at the goal differential, all these teams were obviously the Capitals dominated, Penguins dominated, and then Rangers and Islanders differential was good. Flyers had a winning record with a negative goal differential, so maybe there was a little bit of luck there. So that's interesting. They didn't score a lot of goals compared to these other teams. Their defense was good. They gave up around the same amount of goals, but they did not score at the same rate as these other teams. And then they were the worst playoff team, basically. The best non-playoff team. They just snuck in over the Bruins And yeah, okay, so even though this team made the playoffs, yeah, I think I was kind of right that expectations couldn't have been that high. They weren't like it doesn't seem like they were that impressive. They were just like a good team that got into the playoffs, but weren't really gonna go many places. Wow, that's a lot of references. Okay, so that's unfortunate. That gives us a paragraph about the off season, but like when we get to the regular season, there's not. It's just the stats. There's no like storyline details, which is too bad. I would love to read a little bit more about that. But that's Wikipedia. Great contributions. Clap it up for Wikipedia. Thank you, Wikipedia, for providing that information. Oh, every single goal of the 2015-2016 season. How about that? Hopefully this doesn't get this video demonetized. Maybe if I skip through these. This is all right. So here's that. There's guys score. Oh, let's see Claude's first goal of the season. There you go, Claude. Way to tip it in. Honestly, it's so hard to watch the puck in hockey. Okay, I saw it the second time. I realized what happened the second time. But yeah, watching hockey is tough, man. It's hard to follow the puck. So let's see. Was there anything else? Here we go. NBC 10 Philadelphia. Shout out to you guys. I think I will close on this. We'll read about their season was one to remember. It's the most like generic headline you could ever write. Anything could happen and it would be a season to remember. Unless it's like really terrible, I guess then it would be like a season to forget. Okay, this first sentence feels kind of perfect. It feels like it fits the vibe that I'm getting from this team. Written by Andrew Culp. Shout out, Andrew. First sentence. It's not every day a losing team is shown appreciation in Philadelphia. So that's interesting right off the bat because that's true. It's not every day. It's hardly ever is a losing team shown appreciation in Philadelphia. So that's shocking. Great first sentence, Andrew. Got me hooked. Yet that was the scene at the Wells Fargo Center immediately after they were eliminated. Okay, so they got eliminated at home, which normally leaves a really bitter taste in your mouth. But the crowd gave a standing ovation and a hearty "Let's Go Flyers" chant for their valiant effort. Okay. The group exceeded expectations and overachieved. Okay, so gotcha. They weren't even, maybe they were just expected to be mid and they turned out pretty good. That was better than expected. They weren't expected to make the playoffs, maybe. They earned respect, not only from their fans, but the entire NHL. Okay. Up until the very end, facing a far superior opponent, down 3-0 in the series. Okay. So they went down 3-0 and then they won 2 and okay, so this was a grit and grind fighting team. No wonder Philadelphia liked them. That makes sense. Too often we are quick to disregard a team's season because they didn't mount a deep playoff run, much less conclude with the championship in a parade. That sounds like Philly. Well, the Flyers may have come in last, but it sure was a lot of fun watching them cross the finish line. Come in last. Oh, like of the playoff teams, I guess. Began with the unconventional hire of Dave Haxtell, which we went over. That was definitely an unconventional hire. Maybe best of all, Haxtell allowed Shane Gostisbehere. I don't know. That's an interesting name. To be himself, resulting in a historic rookie season beyond worthy of a Calder Trophy consideration. Wow. Okay. Electrifying 23-year-old showed an uncanny ability to rise to the moment and score the go-ahead goal. Who could forget his remarkable 15-game point streak, shattering the record for rookie defenseman? Okay, so this Shane Gostisbehere guy, what happened with him? Let's learn about him. What's his deal? I guess he's on the Carolina Hurricanes right now, so he's still in the league. Let's go hockey reference. We're going down a little rabbit hole here. Bear with me. Okay, he was with Philly so he played 2 games with them prior. This is his first full season. He won Rookie of the Year. Oh, he was on the all-rookie team, it looks like. It pulled up the rosters. He was with Philly until 2021-22. And then he went to Arizona, and then he has bounced around since. But he was with Philly for basically most of his young years. Okay. But it doesn't seem like he was, like, crazy after that first season. So that might have been a little bit of an outlier, unless I'm missing something. Like, I don't see a crazy outstanding. His points plus minus peaked in 17-18, and he scored 13 goals. He had 17. He never topped 17 goals that he had in his rookie season. So I don't know. Maybe let me know. Did he peak as a rookie? Or, like, maybe he peaked in those first 3 years, but then, like, in his later 20s didn't actually hit as much of a prime as some other guys. That's interesting. So this guy, Shane, I really want to find out how to pronounce his last name. This guy had a historic rookie season. Then everything culminated with an improbable playoff push. So they started off slow with a young head coach. That probably makes sense. And then they went on a tear at the end. So they actually might have gone into the playoffs pretty hot. They were hands down one of the best teams in hockey down the home stretch. Momentum the organization hopes will carry into 2016-2017. We'll find out maybe another time how they did in 2016-2017. We know they didn't win a championship. But okay, so this year was kind of like a reset. And they didn't quite know what to expect. And they did well. So it was like a building block season. Another reason why it felt more meaningful than it actually was. They took the NHL by storm in what was widely considered a rebuilding year. Okay, yeah. They're a reset, a rebuild. And yet somehow they were still pretty good. Imagine if this was only the start of a longer, more sustained run of success for the Flyers. We've heard that story before with the Flyers and with other Sixers, Philadelphia teams. So, yeah, few people understood at the time that the team was rallying for owner Ed Snyder, who passed just before the playoffs began. Dang, that sucks. A lot happened in this season. Good job, Wheel. Wow. It was a team that Snyder and Flyers fans could be proud of, and while it did not achieve the ultimate goal of the Stanley Cup, it was a season that brought joy and gave hope for the future. The Flyers are headed in the right direction. It's a season that has the potential to be remembered fondly for a long time. Okay, so that's great. I'm glad. I thought this would have a little bit more of a negative tone to this team, that they're just kind of like a mid-team that didn't excite people, but it seems like this team excited people quite a bit. So I'm glad about that. Good for you, 2015, 2016 Philadelphia Flyers. Good for you, Ghost. That was his nickname. So we're just going to call him Ghost because I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Good for Dave for coming in there and, making the best of what the season was supposed to be. Exceeded expectations. Yeah, it seems like a fun Flyers team. Maybe we'll watch some highlights from that sometime. But there we go. I don't have a name for this series. Wheels. Philadelphia sports history wheels randomizers. That's all. We're just going to, I'm going to try to make it a series. Hopefully people find it interesting. But yeah, learning about Philadelphia sports history with wheels. So tune in next time. Maybe we'll spin the wheel again, get another year and another team, and we'll go down some rabbit holes together. Let me know if you guys enjoyed that. I thought it was fun. But yeah, thank you for watching. We'll hang out again soon.